Hi, I'm Emily Fletcher, and I founded Ziva Meditation because meditation upleveled my performance and my life so dramatically that I felt compelled and inspired to be able to share it with others. That's what this video is. It's a way for me to share the tools that have helped me personally and thousands of students over the past 5 years. It's also step one in you learning Ziva Meditation, which is a powerful trifecta of meditation, mindfulness, and manifesting tools. So I operate under the radical belief that bliss is your birthright. I don't think that nature intended us to be sick, tired, and stressed all the time. Imagine what it would feel like if you could wake up in the morning and feel refreshed and energized instead of feeling like you have to crawl to your morning cup of coffee. What if you could stress less and accomplish more? What if you could go through life feeling like nature has your back? You can. And at the end of this video, you're going to have an opportunity to sign up for the live version of Ziva Meditation. All you need is 2 hours a day for 4 days, and you're going to graduate an expert meditator. You're going to understand the Ziva technique inside and out, and you're going to have these powerful tools to take with you for life. Now, during this video, I'm going to tell you about what the heck meditation is, how I came to find it. I'll talk about some of the research and benefits of it, and then I'll explain exactly how the course works. So I actually found meditation about 10 years ago when I was doing a chorus line on Broadway. I was understudying 3 of the lead roles, which means you show up to the theater and you have no idea which character you're going on for. Sometimes I would start as one character and halfway through they'd switch me to a different one. Now, I was expecting like martinis with Liza at Sardi's, and instead I'm rocking myself in fetal position under my dressing room table listening to Eckhart Tolle on repeat. So here I am on Broadway, living my dream in arguably one of the best musicals of all time, and I was miserable. I started going gray at the tender age of 26. I started having insomnia. I couldn't sleep through the night for 18 months. I started getting sick. I started getting injured, and it was very confusing to me why I was living my dream and it wasn't sunshine and roses. So thankfully, I got invited to a meditation talk. I liked what I heard. It made sense to me. So I signed up for this course. And on the very first day of the first course, I was meditating. And that night, I slept through the night for the first time in 18 months. And I have every night since, and that was about 10 years ago. Then I started noticing that everything kept getting better. I stopped getting sick, I stopped getting injured, I stopped going gray, I started enjoying my job again. And it was this dramatic up-leveling in my performance and in my life that inspired me to become a teacher so that I could share this experience with you. So I left Broadway, went to India, trained for 3 years to be a teacher, and to be honest, it's the most exciting and rewarding thing I've ever done. But as I started working with more high performers, I realized that people come to me when they're ready to really step into their full potential. And meditation is a piece of that, a really important piece, but there are other tools that can help you realize your dreams with elegance. So I started creating custom mindfulness visualizations for students who were performing at the Oscars or negotiating a big NBA contract. We made some for new parents who wanted to be more present with their kids, people wanting a better night's sleep, and everything in between. Now, we also started using some manifesting tools to remove everyone's biggest fear, fear of success. And thus, the Ziva technique was born. So the Ziva technique is this powerful trifecta of meditation, mindfulness, and manifesting tools. I like to think of mindfulness as the appetizer, meditation as the main course, and manifesting as the dessert. And by combining these 3 elements together, our students are experiencing materially better performance, and they report enjoying their lives a whole lot more. So what does Ziva mean? Ziva is actually a Sanskrit word that means bliss. It's one of the many Sanskrit words that means bliss. It's also a Hebrew name that means one who is radiant or kind. And since bliss, radiance, and kindness are very common side effects of meditation, I thought it would be a good name. Plus, I thought it would look good on our tote bags, which it does. Now, the word meditation is trickier to define because everyone has their idea of what they think meditation is. And some people say to me, they're like, oh, Emily, exercise is my meditation, or cooking is my meditation, or Facebook is my meditation. And I'm like, no, Facebook is no one's meditation. So glad it exists. Not the same thing as meditation. Now, meditation, as I define it, is quite simply a stress-relieving tool. It's a vehicle to help you access a verifiable 4th state of consciousness. Now, what do I mean when I say verifiable? I mean that if you were to hook your brain up to an EEG machine, there are 8 classic points on the right brain and 8 classic points on the left. Now, during waking, sleeping, and dreaming states of consciousness, which are the 3 states of consciousness most of us are very familiar with, the right and left hemispheres of the brain are functioning independently. But in this style of meditation that I teach at Ziva, all 16 leads of EEG rise and fall in unison. Pretty cool party trick, but who cares? Why would we want the right and left hemispheres of the brain to function in unison? Well, our right brain is our home of creativity, intuition, connectedness, color, music. It's also the part of you that's responsible for the right now. And guess where your bliss and fulfillment hang out? Right here, right now. It's our left brain that's always worrying about the past and rehearsing the future, which is where most of our stress comes from. Now, if you could have a tool that grounds you firmly in the right now, you would be able to experience joy and bliss and perform at the top of your game like nothing you've ever experienced. Now, one of the biggest misconceptions around meditation is that people try it and they feel like they should be able to magically give their brain a command to stop thinking. And then they can't do that, and then they feel like they're failing, and then they quit. But here's some really good news if you've ever felt frustrated because you couldn't calm your mind while you were meditating. The mind actually thinks involuntarily, just like the heart beats involuntarily. So imagine how silly it would be to sit down to meditate and try to give your heart a command to stop beating. It doesn't work. And yet this is the criteria by which everyone is judging themselves as to whether or not they're a good meditator. And then they feel like they're failing, and then they quit. Because none of us will do anything for very long that we feel like we're failing at. Now, in the live version of Ziva meditation, you're given your very own mantra or sound. And the mantra really is the thing that does all the work for you. It's the thing that allows you to access that verifiable fourth state of consciousness where your body is getting rest that's 5 times deeper than sleep. It basically feels like taking a supercharged power nap without a sleep hangover on the other side. Now, mantra is not a slogan, okay? It's not like, I am a strong, angry woman, or I want $1 million. Those are slogans. Mantra is actually a Sanskrit word. Man means mind, and tra means vehicle. So a mantra is quite literally a mind vehicle, custom designed to take you from your active layers of left brain thinking down into more subtle states of right brain being. And these more subtle states of awareness, this is where our bliss and fulfillment actually reside. Now, every spiritual text has been saying this since the beginning of time. What you seek is in you. And that's great to understand as an esoteric concept, but it is much, much more powerful to be able to experience that tangibly and viscerally every day, twice a day. So what we're doing is that we're settling down the mind and body to be able to experience that bliss and fulfillment where it actually resides. And then the mind cannot conceive of a thought that would deliver it greater fulfillment than it's already experiencing, and then the mind falls silent. So it's not, if I can stop my mind from thinking, then I'll experience bliss. It's actually, when I experience bliss, then the mind falls silent. And the mantra is the thing that allows this to happen for you. This practice is ridiculously simple and effortless because it was designed for people like you and I. It was designed for people with busy minds and busy lives. Now, people come to meditation for all different kinds of reasons. Sometimes they're coming because they have insomnia, like I did, or migraines, or anxiety, or depression, or sometimes they've been diagnosed with an incurable illness. And oftentimes people will ask, well, how can meditation cure so many different things? But the better question we should be asking is, how does stress mess so many things up? Stress is making us sick, it's making us stupid, and it's making us crazy. And pills are not the answer. We have to find a sustainable way to go after the root cause instead of masking the symptoms. And one of the biggest benefits of meditation that we don't talk about too much because it sounds a little hippy-dippy and a little esoteric is the expansion of consciousness. So what is consciousness? I would define it as the animating force inside of you. It is the thing that makes you alive. It's a thing that makes a plant alive, and everything is expressing consciousness, but to varying degrees. Now, the thing is, the more consciousness you have, more joy, more peace, more equanimity. Less consciousness, more suffering. It's very akin to being more awake. So the more consciousness you have, you feel like you're more awake. Now, there's 3 telltale signs to tell how much consciousness you have. 1 is the ability to hold many things in one awareness. 2 is the ability to detect subtlety, so subtle differences in things, which helps you make decisions. And 3 is the ability to detect themes. And what's a theme? It's a pattern. So basically, how quickly can you start to detect the themes and patterns, not only of other people, but your own themes and patterns? Now, the best analogy I have to describe what it feels like to be able to hold many things in one awareness is what it feels like to be more or less awake. So imagine you slept for 9 hours and you wake up and you're going on a road trip. Put yourself some coffee in your to-go cup, handle your kids in the back seat, put in the GPS of where you're going, listen to the radio, talk on the phone, all while driving the car, no problem. Versus how you feel and perform if you've only slept for 2 or 3 hours, all you could do is drive your car and maybe take a sip of coffee when the driving isn't hard. And if you get lost, what's the first thing you're gonna do? Turn off that radio because you gotta really focus in. So the more you meditate, the more awake you become, the easier it is to hold many things in one awareness. And I would argue that that's valuable no matter what your job is. Now, the ability to detect subtlety is directly correlated to your probability of making a mistake. Because what's a mistake? It's a mistake. We took something to be one thing when actually it was something else. But the more awake you are, the more you can see these subtle differences in things, the less likely you are to make a mistake. Also, this meditation, it wipes away the longing from our lens of perception so we can start to see things more accurately for what they are. There's a beautiful line in the Vedas and it says, "The truth waits for eyes unclouded by longing." I'm going to say it again. The truth waits for eyes unclouded by longing. And I love this because we've all been there. We've all wanted something to be the thing so badly that we put blinders on to what is. And the more awake you are, the more you access that fulfillment internally, the more it wipes that longing away from your lens so you can start to see things more accurately for what they are. Now, the third attribute of higher states of consciousness is the ability to detect themes. What's a theme? It's a pattern. And nature's working in patterns all the time. And usually it's easy for us to see other people's problems, other people's patterns, but that doesn't do us any good because we're not in charge of other people's patterns. The only person we're in charge of is ourselves. And the more you start to meditate, the more you start to see your own themes, which frees you up to put your time and your attention on the creative, constructive themes in your life and take it away from the destructive themes. So one of the biggest themes, maybe in the whole world, but definitely the West right now, is stress. And it's funny, when you become a meditation teacher, you become quite an expert on stress. So let me tell you what stress is not. Stress is not traffic, stress is not interviews, breakups, in-laws, the 6 train, the 405. All of these things are demands. They're demanding your time and they're burning up something that I call adaptation energy. So what is adaptation energy? It's quite simply your ability to handle a change of expectation. And here's the trick. When we run out of adaptation energy, our body launches involuntarily into a fight or flight stress reaction. Now, if we want to understand why the human body reacts to stress in the way that it does, we have to cut back in time a few thousand years. And let's say we're hunting and gathering in the woods. And let's say a saber-toothed tiger jumps out at you with the intent to kill. Now, your body is going to launch into a series of chemical reactions. Your digestive system will flood with acid, which shuts down digestion because we need all hands on deck to fight or flee, and it takes a lot of energy to digest our food. That same acid will seep onto your skin so you don't taste very good if you get bitten into by that tiger. Your blood will start to thicken and coagulate so you don't bleed to death if you get bitten into. Your vision will start to narrow so you can really focus in on fighting or fleeing. Your cortisol levels increase, your blood pressure increases, your bladder and bowels evacuate so you can be light on your feet. And also your immune system goes to the back burner because who cares if you're going to get cancer if you're about to be killed by a tiger? So all of these reactions in the body are really important. They're very good for you if your demands are predatory attacks. The thing is, our demands are no longer saber-toothed tigers. Now it's text messages and emails and internet and in-laws and red-eye flights, none of which call for a fight or flight stress reaction. As a matter of fact, this stress reaction is now disallowing you from performing at the top of your game. So we need a tool here. We need something that's custom built to come in and get rid of the backlog of stresses from our nervous system so that we can perform at the top of our game. So let me tell you a little bit about some of the research that's been done on this style of meditation. Meditators perform 40% higher on something called the Tripartite Performance Variability Test. Now, this is really just a fancy way of saying they can do 3 things at the same time. They can perform a task quickly, accurately, and all while remaining calm. Now, most of us can do 2 out of the 3. We can do it quickly and accurately, but we get pretty stressed. Or we do it accurately and it takes us a long time. But to perform all 3, 40% higher, I don't care what your job is, that's valuable. Some other interesting science is that meditators can reverse their body age by up to 8 years. I'm 87 years old. I'm just kidding. I'm not 87. I'm 38, but I feel like I'm doing pretty good. Okay, so when I first heard this, I thought this is ridiculous. There's no way. Meditation isn't a magic pill. It's not a fountain of youth, and it's not. What meditation is doing is that it's slowing down the acceleration of aging that stress has on the body. And if you want proof that stress ages the body more quickly, look at any president the day they take office and that same president 4 years later. Every single one of them ages so quickly. And that's not a coincidence. It's the fact that they have the weight of the world on their shoulders. And now there's brand new science from Tufts University saying that it's not just 8 years you can reverse your body age, but 15. Now what's happening there is that meditation actually lengthens your telomeres, which is the casing around your DNA. And the way I like to think about that is that it's like the little plastic thing at the end of your shoelace, and if that unravels, then the shoelace unravels. Well, same thing with telomeres and DNA. The shorter your telomeres are, the faster your DNA unravels. So the way that meditation helps with this is that it's actually getting rid of the backlog of stresses we've all had stored in our nervous system and bringing your body back to where it wants to be naturally. So now I want to share a concept with you that I call the I'll be happy when syndrome. And most of us are so deep in this syndrome that we can't even see it. Have you ever had the thought, I'll be happy when I have $10,000? And once you get $10,000, then you want $100,000. And once you have $100,000, then you think, oh, I'll be happy once I have a perfect partner. And then you think, oh, I'll be happy once I have kids. And once you have kids, you think, oh, I'll be happy once these kids get out of my house. So the I'll be happy when syndrome is the mistaken belief that somehow you can acquire your way to happiness. But the reality is that day never arrives. Nothing out here can ever deliver your fulfillment. So that carrot just keeps getting further and further away. Once we climb to the top of a mountain, we've now proven to ourselves that we can climb a mountain, and now we see all the other mountains that we have yet to climb. So if you don't have the ability to access your fulfillment right here, right now, it's not going to magically come on the other side of any person, place, or thing. And yet we keep doing this to ourselves. We keep putting our happiness further and further away behind these imaginary dates in the future. And what I'm offering is that this experience, this meditation, is going to allow you to access your fulfillment internally, which allows you to move out of being a bag of need looking to be fulfilled, and instead turns you into fulfillment looking for need. And that is a powerful way to live your life. Because paradoxically, when you start approaching every situation with what can I give versus what can I take, all of your goals start to show up by accident. Now, the cool thing about meditation is that it's not asking you to change your identity. It's not like you have to go home for Thanksgiving and be like, Mom, Dad, I'm a Ziva meditator. No, this thing is quite simply a stress relieving tool. This is the tool that's going to allow you to act in accordance with what you already know to be true. And the reality is, most of us know how we should be living. We should all eat more vegetables, go to bed before midnight, exercise every day, and call our moms more often. It's not that hard, and yet none of us are doing it. Why? Because we don't act in accordance with what we know. We act in accordance with the baseline level of stress in our nervous systems. So basically, this meditation is a hardware upgrade. It's defragging your brain computer so that you can run the software that you already have. Now, let's say you wanted to learn the meditation portion of Ziva even 50 years ago. No one was teaching it in the US, so you'd probably have to fly to Delhi, not direct. And then you'd have to take a train up to Rishikesh, which is where I started my training over 10 years ago. From Rishikesh, you'd have to hike up into the Himalayas about 18 hours, depending on how good a shape you're in. And then you get to a little town called Jyotirmat, which is the home of this knowledge. And there you'd go to an ashram and you knock on a door and you say, hello, I'm here to learn meditation. And they would say, hello, welcome. Did you bring your prescribed gifts? Now, what are the gifts? It would be a handful of whole sweet fruits and a handful of fresh cut flowers. Now, why fruit and flowers? Because at that altitude in the Himalayas, there's a lot of rock, there's a lot of ice, so those things are very rare, they're very valuable and hard to come by. Now, they'd also ask you if you brought your course fee. And back in the day, your course fee would be whatever you earn in a week. So if you're a rice farmer, your course fee would be a week's worth of rice. If you're a potato farmer, kind of sucks for you, but you're bringing a week's worth of potatoes 18 hours into the Himalayas. Now, once you sign up, on the very first day, you'll receive your own personalized mantra and practice using it. Then you'd stick around in the ashram for 3 more days, each day receiving a bit of knowledge, helping you operate your shiny new vehicle of meditation. So if the mantra is like the key that operates the car of meditation, then the next 3 days are like the driving instructions. And at the end of that 4th day, you would graduate and you would be completely self-sufficient. You wouldn't be reliant on any one guru or any one location for your meditation practice. Now, that said, you would have access to a lifetime of follow-up. It's just not that convenient because you'd have to fly to Delhi, take a train to Rishikesh, and then hike up into the Himalayas. So when I graduated, I took a vow that says that when I teach this, I teach it in its purity. And the meditation portion of Ziva is exactly that. But what we've done at Ziva to make this practice better suited for high performers is add mindfulness to help you easily adopt it into your busy life, and manifesting to help you bring your wildest dreams into your everyday reality. So if you decide that this course sounds inspiring to you, then you would come along on your very first day with a handful of fresh fruit and a handful of fresh flowers. Now, I know this sounds a little crazy, but you'll get to witness the exact same ceremony that's been performed for the past few thousand years. And this is really a way of giving thanks to the people who have kept this tradition alive for so many generations. Now, one of the things I'm most proud of at Ziva is that once you take the course, you've advance funded yourself for a lifetime of follow-up and support. So what does that look like? That means that once you graduate, you can come back and take the course as many times as you want to. And you don't have to take the whole course. You could just come to one day as a refresher. You also have access to our weekly group meditations for the rest of your life. You'll also have access to our online support group. That's called Ziva Family, and that's a great way to ask questions and get support even if you're not in town. So for full course details and to find out when the next course is happening, you can go to zivameditation.com/events and see the full schedule. Now, I know that 20 minutes twice a day can feel like a lot of time. I know that we're all busy, but I promise that that return on investment is exponential. So think of it like this. Meditation is like watering the root of the tree. As you water the root, all of the branches start to produce fruit. And if we spend too much time worrying about each individual branch, then everything starts to wilt. But if we create space in our lives for meditation, if we water the root, then all of the branches flourish beautifully. All right, friends, thank you so much for your time and your attention. I hope that you've learned something during this video, and it would be an honor to share this practice with you. If it feels inspiring and you think you'd like to sign up, then you can simply go to zivameditation.com/payment for the group course, or if you're interested in a private, you can email info@zivameditation.com. All right, friends, I hope to see you soon for Ziva Live. Bye.
I can't believe that Emily has gotten me to meditate, because it's been half a decade of reading about meditation and talking about meditation. There are very few consensuses in the medical community, and what I've gathered is that meditation is one of those things where like the consensus is just like it's one of the best things that you can do for your health. So I've been really, wanting to try it just for that purpose, just to see what it's like, because I talk the talk. I really wanted to walk the walk, and I thought that there was no better person to lead me down that path than Emily.
Felt happier, I felt calmer, I felt less anxious. I have way more going on, but it doesn't affect me the same way. I'm sleeping better, I have more energy. And the truth is, like, even if I don't sleep, if I meditate, I feel like I've just had like 3 hours of nap.
The most important thing that Emily ever said to me was trying to get your brain to stop thinking is like trying to get your heart to stop beating. And the minute I let go of that responsibility, then meditation became something much more interesting, so that I could allow myself to have my thoughts and yet sort of bring myself down to this very quiet, soft, safe place. And to stay there for 20 minutes doesn't feel like enough.